here's something I came up with for flooding. Okay. We have a low-lying area. The device itself, cheap to make. In my head, I envision it almost like a miniature cooling tower. Cheap to make cooling tower, kind of like the cooling towers of the nuclear plants, where the smoke's billowing out the top. Those cooling towers, and what it is, that's steam, because they are basically cooking some water from the iron rods or whatever, and it gets hot, and so the steam gets the water gets cooked and boiled off, and the steam rises out to the top. That's a lot of condensation right there. So same concept, except you scale it down, and you're not using some radioactive device. Maybe a heating coil, maybe like in here somewhere. Of course, there'll be an inner layer. It has to be protected where it's not that hot to touch. Still, you don't want to touch them, I'm sure. So that gets hot. There's ways that you can do that, different systems. As the water comes in, it only gets turned on. Maybe there's a sensor. So as it floods, the water goes in to here as it's coming in, flowing into the apparatus, causing the coil to turn on, heating up the water inside here, thus creating a steam, like a water tower. They have to be cheap to make so that you can make a bunch of these and put them in low-lying areas. Also recommend that they are also portable. They can be portable, they can be storable, so you can move them from place to place to place as well. Very cheap to make though, and you can get a bunch of them, put them into an area that's flooded. I mean, however many it takes, and how long would it take to boil off all that water in a low-lying area? That's kind of an idea I created to assist with flooding. Water level goes down. Once the water level is not detected, the machine shuts off. Cheap. The only thing is you have to discover how to heat up that coil for cheap. I did come up with a solution possibly to heat up the coil, and that is a methane tank from landfills. So landfill releases methane gas. You collect it into a tank, and maybe you can put them as like a small cartridges, kind of like a if you've ever seen those burners that chefs use. They use a little small can of fuel, maybe some sort of compressed methane cartridge, real easy to replace. Pop them in, they burn for hours and hours and hours, something like that.